Hi all, and welcome back to another episode with Maths with Mr. Mitchell. Today we are going to be finding any unknown angle in a right angle triangle using the three basic right angle trig functions, and that's sine, cosine, and tangent ratios. So just a few quick reminders. Make sure that you really carefully label the sides of your right angle triangle before you then decide and choose your which formula and ratio you want to use. Make sure you clearly substitute and then look to rearrange and solve for the either missing angle or missing side. So in this first question, in this right angle triangle, we can see that we are asked to find the missing angle x, and directly, obviously, opposite angle is my opposite side. The 10 centimeters is my adjacent side. So if we're given the opposite side and the adjacent side, we should think about using the tangent ratio. So let's write down our rule. Tan of my angle equals the ratio between the opposite and adjacent side. Let's substitute. Tan of my angle equals 5 over 10. And then we then need to use our calculator to be able to find the missing angle. So how I set this up on our calculator and how we write it is my angle is equal to the inverse tan of 5 over 10, which we know is a half. And if I use my calculator, I simply need to press Shift 10 to get inverse tan. In my brackets, 1 over 2, press equals, and we get 26.6 degrees to one decimal place. All right, so let's now look at the second question. Let's always identify the sides that we are given. So here's my angle. Opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. Adjacent, the angle we're trying to find is this 9 is my adjacent side. And now I know I'm using the adjacent and hypotenuse. If I go over, I can see that cos is the ratio between the adjacent and hypotenuse. So let's substitute that in. So we get cos of x equals the adjacent over hypotenuse. Let's substitute. So cos of x equals adjacent is 9 over 14. And now I write my angle x is equal to the inverse cos of 9 over 14. And we can use our calculators. Shift cos of 9 over 14, close brackets, execute, and we get an angle of 49.99. So that's going to be 49.99 degrees. So that would give us 50 degrees to one decimal place. Next question. Do the same thing. Let's label our side. So this opposite the right angle is our hypotenuse. Opposite the angle is the opposite side. So I'm now looking at my three rules. We've got opposite and hypotenuse, so that's going to be the sine rule. So let's write down our rule. Sine of x equals the opposite over hypotenuse. Substitute. Sine of x equals 8 over 14. Rearrange, so x equals the inverse sine of 8 over 14. Go to our calculator. Shift sine of 8 over 14. Obviously, we could simplify that fraction if we wanted to. And we get 34.8 degrees. Right. So now I would like you to try this yourself. So press pause, have a go at the question, then press play and see if you get the correct answer. Okay. So let's have a look. Hopefully you've had a go yourself. Let's go through the answer. So here's my angle X. This is my adjacent side. This is my hypotenuse side. So I'm going to use the cos function, which is the ratio between the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Let's substitute. So cos of X equals 7 over 12. We rearrange. Then we go to our calculators and we put it into our calculators. So shift cos, inverse cos of 7 over 12. And we get 54.3 degrees. Right. Hopefully you got that answer.